And right now we're getting into our topic of discussion this morning. We've got 27 minutes to the top of the hour. I did mention the fact that we will be looking at the financial status and this time around looking at financial reporting in our country. And speaking of financial reporting in Uganda, joining me this morning to discuss more about this, I do have a lady, Nancy Akolo, who is the head of communications, Institute of Certified Public Account of Uganda, and she's here to discuss more about financial reporting. Many thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Jerome.
Thank you. Good morning. Please say hello to the viewers.
Hello everybody, my name is Nancy, as Jerome has introduced me, and I'm from the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda.
The CPA. If you can briefly take us through what the CPA does for the viewers to understand more.
Okay, thank you, Joram. The Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda, also commonly abbreviated as CPA Uganda, is the regulator for accountants in Uganda. So we were established in 1992 by an Act of Parliament, and our mandate is twofold. Basically, we do education and regulation. So under education, we prescribe the framework for professional accountancy education in Uganda, and then we also conduct examinations, and then we obviously award the final qualification. Then under regulation, we issue licenses to accounting firms and certificates of practice for practicing accountants. Then we also prescribe the code of conduct for professional accountants, and there's a disciplinary mechanism in line with that. And then, which brings me to the other one of our other functions, and which is why we are here today, is we prescribe the standards of financial reporting in Uganda.
All right. Now, speaking of financial reporting, one may ask, what does it entail? What is financial reporting, and what should one know about it?
Okay. So financial reporting, in simple terms, is providing information for users of financial information. That could be management, it could be the board, it could be other stakeholders, investors, the public, and so on and so forth. So it's basically the process of summarizing all accounting and financial information. So the accounting process is broad, and it starts with recording and classifying information. But that information is quite detailed. So then what the accountant does is they summarize that information into financial statements. So that is financial reporting, summarizing all that financial information into financial statements that can be easily read and understood by the users of that information.
And who is supposed to do the financial reporting? Is it a specific person, a qualified person, or anybody who is running their business can definitely come forward and do the financial reporting themselves?
That's a very good question, Joram, and I'm so glad that you've asked it, because it comes up often. So financial reporting should be done by a certified public accountant. And in Uganda, the law defines a certified public accountant as one who is a member of the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda. So, and the reason why we insist that preparing financial information should be done by CPAs is because, number one, they possess the requisite qualifications. So in terms of, just to give you a background about the education journey or line for accountants, is they have an undergraduate qualification. Sometimes it's in accounting, or it could be in another field. But an accountant has to do a professional qualification in addition to the undergraduate. And CPA is a course that we offer as ICPAU. So they do the course, and then even after doing the course, they must go ahead and register for membership. So it's not enough for one to have just done the CPA course. They must be a member of the institute. And the reason why we insist on membership is so that they can be regulated, because those who just do the course and then are not members are not regulated. So we can't discipline them, we can't monitor their conduct, and they're not accountable to the code of conduct. So the financial statements should be prepared by certified public accountants.
And of what importance is financial reporting to a business owner? Why would someone have to at least annually or monthly do a financial report?
Yes, another good question. So Organizations have stakeholders.
Okay.
Like I said earlier, the management, the board, customers, investors, and so on and so forth. And these stakeholders need information about the organization. They need to know how the organization is performing financially. They need to know the status of the organization's obligations versus its assets. They need to know about the activities the organization has, governance of the organization, issues to do with sustainability, how are they treating employees, how are human rights issues being addressed. And so all that information is provided through financial reporting. And so that is why financial reporting is very important. It gives information, useful information, that stakeholders can then rely on to make informed decisions.
So it is basically vital. I should
yes,
look at
it is.
it in that way.
Extremely.
Okay, and when you look at the financial report, sometimes I want to understand, is a financial report quite the same as auditing, or they quite differ?
Okay, that's another good question. So the financial report has to be audited. Okay. So the certified public accountant at the end of the year will prepare the financial statements. Okay. So then the auditor comes in to check and ascertain and verify that the financial statements that are prepared by the accountant were prepared in accordance with the standards. Yes, so in other words, in simple terms, the auditors check on the work that the CPA has done.
Okay.
Yes.
So it is simply that. Anyway, besides the issue to do with the financial reports and all these situations, if I'm to look at that briefly, I would want to as well know if in case a financial report comes out and it is I personally run my business. Like you mentioned, it's supposed to be done by a certified person. Yes. I run my business, but I can ably write this financial report. Should we say it is not considered a financial report? No. If it has all that matters on the report, or briefly take us through what does the financial report have to clearly know that it's a financial report.
Okay, so for a non-accountant, what they basically do is record keeping. Okay. So what they will provide is what we term as the books of original entry. So that is not enough information, because from that, and you know that information can be so clustered. You have receipts, you have so much information, and that it makes it difficult for now management or your stakeholders to interpret it properly. So where you need the accountant is to be able to classify first of all that information and tell you that it falls into this category. These are assets, these are liabilities, these are your expenses, and so on and so forth. And then after classifying, that information needs to be summarized now into the financial statements. And that is where now the CPA comes in to help you summarize and present them into the financial statements that are required. There are basically about 4 types of financial statements depending on the nature of the organization. So you need a statement that tells you about the financial performance of the organization. So that statement is called a statement of comprehensive income, or your income statement. At the bottom, it will tell you whether you've made a profit or a loss. So that is one financial statement. Then the other one is the statement of financial position. So now that one will tell you how the organization is faring in terms of its obligations, which are liabilities, and what it owns, which are the assets. So those are to simply put it, those are some of the 2 statements that the CPA will help you as a business owner to prepare. So you might not be able to prepare that with the non-accounting knowledge, because there are standards that are applied in preparing those statements, and the layman person might most likely is not privy to those standards and doesn't know how to apply them. So, and now that is where financial reporting comes in, the financial reporting awards, because now what the accountant is going to do is to help you to prepare those statements in accordance with the standards, and those are things that lay people might not be able to do.
Okay. And then speaking of financial reporting, here comes the Financial Reporting Awards, which are slated to happen this very year, 2022.
Yeah.
So I would first of all want to understand what are the Financial Reporting Awards and how long have they been in place?
Okay. So the Financial Reporting Awards are an event, or should I call it a mechanism, through which the Institute and its partners monitors compliance with the standards.
Okay.
So we introduced the awards in 2011, and the background is that in 1998 the Institute adopted financial reporting standards, global standards, to be used in Uganda. And then after that it became necessary for us to then monitor the level of compliance with the standards. So that is why the FIRE Awards were introduced. So at the awards, we basically check on how organizations are preparing their annual reports to ensure that they're preparing them in compliance with the global standards.
Okay, now let's hit into the objectives of the awards. What were you aiming at, and why are they in place?
Okay. So first of all, we introduced awards to monitor compliance with the standards, and also to help organizations to benchmark their reports against best practices. So as an organization, let's say as a business, if your accountant prepared for you your financial statements, it would be important for you to find out whether they are complying with the global benchmark. So the basic objective is basically to monitor compliance and to encourage organizations to apply global financial reporting standards, and to also give them an opportunity to benchmark their annual reports. But also really the other benefit is recognition, because when we have the awards, we recognize those that have excelled. So it's an opportunity for organizations to be recognized, and of course this builds their image and their reputation.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Anyway, when you look at Uganda's organizations, currently business organizations from the private sector or even government, have they embraced the issue to do with financial reporting?
Good question. To a great extent, would say no.
Okay.
Not many organizations. We still have so many that are struggling, but on the brighter side, we also have those that have embraced financial reporting, and they are complying, and they're performing really well. So to answer your question, there is still a lot that needs to be done. Yeah, and that is why we continue to promote financial reporting, and platforms such as these are very important to us, because we need to spread the word as much as possible. So we are not yet there as a country, but there are organizations that have really excelled as well.
And now I'm looking at the people in downtown Kampala, people in Chikuwo, who normally do their basic record keeping. Have you been able to at least create awareness around this sort of people, for example, the small, medium-sized enterprises, on the importance of financial reporting?
Yes, we have actually. So this year we introduced what we call pro bono services, because we discovered that many SMEs, many small businesses were not they're not using professional accountants to prepare their books of accounts. And the biggest challenge that we have, even URA will tell you this, the biggest challenge that small businesses face is record keeping. They don't keep proper records. Even the receipts, things as basic as keeping storage of receipts. You find receipts are missing, so those source documents, they don't have them most of the time. So one of the things that we are doing as the Institute to help small businesses to address this issue is we've created pro bono services in partnership with accounting firms, and these are free. Small businesses do not have to pay. So if your business is registered, you can approach us as the Institute and tell us, this is my business, this is what I do, and this is where I have challenges. Then we can pair you as a business with an accounting firm who will then provide a certified public accountant who can help you with those issues. So that's what we are doing, and we really invite as many businesses as possible to participate. We've not had good response, unfortunately. We have tried to promote, but not many businesses are coming up, and yet this is free. Yeah, so we and thank you for giving us this platform. We hope that small businesses out there hearing this message and that they can approach us for that help.
Looking at the issue of financial reporting, I need to know something here. Is it an annual report that is rendered to CPA, or you have to, or a business person is supposed to render the report monthly?
No, it's an annual report.
Okay.
So the annual report is prepared for the accounting period, and accounting periods are normally 1 year.
Okay.
Yeah, so between January to December. So the regulations give 3 months to organizations to prepare those reports. So let's say if I was preparing a report for, sorry, I'm not a CPA, but if a CPA was preparing a report for 2021, they have between January and March 2022 to prepare that report. So it's for the whole year, it's an annual report.
All right. And now let's get back to the Fire Awards. These awards are coming up this year.
Yes.
You will briefly tell us later on when and how can people participate. But who are the people who are going to participate, by the way?
To participate, okay. In terms of organization or those who can submit reports?
Who can submit reports to participate in the awarding?
Okay, so the Fire Awards is open to any organization that produces an annual report.
Okay.
So this organization could be in the public sector, it could be in the private sector, it could be a not-for-profit organization. So in any sector, we do not, there's no limitation. As long as you are a registered organization and you produce an annual report, you're welcome to participate.
Okay. All right. And then when...
And it's free. I forgot to mention.
Participation is free.
Yes, it's
whether
absolutely
it's a public
free.
entity and government
Across
organization.
the board, you only have to submit your annual report.
So have you already got people who are submitting?
Yes,
or
we
yet
have. We have, because we opened entries in June,
Okay.
so we have some that have already submitted.
And so that means the awards will be coming up shortly or December?
No, the awards will be in November, 9th November to be precise.
Okay.
And so we have organizations have up to 30th of September to submit their annual reports. And then there's an evaluation period. We have a committee that sits down and evaluates, and then they prepare evaluation. That's another advantage of submitting your annual report. A participant gets a free feedback report that tells you where you went wrong and what you can do to improve. Yeah.
Okay, and previously when you look at the previous editions of the Financial Reporting Awards, how are they? How was the turn-up? And do you expect huge numbers coming up this time around? Now look back 2 years with the COVID. I believe that was a hardship for quite a number of people.
It was.
I need to know, just take us back, throw back to the awards that have been organized, the Fire Awards. How are they? How was the turn-up? And which organizations participated, have been participating for a long time?
Okay. So the turn-up, what can I say, has been average.
Oh.
Yeah, has been average. It hasn't been as good as we have hoped, because when we compare with our neighbors, Kenya, because Kenya also has their regulator, but we have a working we have an AMR, a mutual recognition agreement across East Africa. And so we work very closely when it comes to regulation and promoting financial reporting. So Kenya gets, I think they get over 900 entries.
Okay.
Yeah, but we've been getting an average of 100 every year, 100 entries, which is not where we want to be. We want that number to be as big as possible. So in terms of participation, we still need more organizations to participate. We are not yet at that stage where we are comfortable, but we are happy for those that we're happy with those that have that continue to participate. The other question that you asked about the participating organizations. We have financial institutions like banks, DFCU, Stanbic, Bank of Baroda. We've had public sector entities like KCCA, NSSF. NSSF has won 3 gold awards. A gold award is the highest award. Stanbic won, I think, 5 of them. So we also have the not-for-profits. We've had SNV, Netherlands has participated. We have private sector entities like Umeme. So we've had quite a number of them. We also have the cooperatives participating, which is also it's a unique category.
Okay.
So we've had Wazalendo SACCO has participated consistently, and they've won in that category over and over again. We have Exodus SACCO of the police. Yeah. So we have a number of key organizations that are participating. But we hope that more organizations can come on board as well.
And how do people submit in? Let's look at the submission of entries. How do people submit in to take part or participate in the awards?
In the awards, yeah. So what they do is they submit their annual report.
Okay.
Yeah, they submit the annual report to the institute. It can be done online.
This current or the previous?
Oh, that's a good question. The most recent annual report. So you wouldn't. Obviously now, at this point, the most recent would be 2021.
True.
And because the one for 2022 has not yet been compiled.
Yes.
So they submit the 2021 report, and how to submit is we have two options.
Okay.
You can submit physically or online. So physically, you drop 3 copies of your annual report to the Institute's offices.
Okay.
We are on plot 42 Bukoto Street. And then you can also submit electronically via our website. You go to the Institute's website, and then on one of the menus there's Fire Awards. So you click on that, menu, and then there's you're able to upload your annual report. So it's as simple as that.
Okay, getting back to the awards, why do you think we still have a low turn-up of people coming in to participate in the awards?
I think, number one, organizations fear to be discovered, because I think some of them, especially the small businesses, like you rightly pointed out earlier, they do not use certified public accountants in the first place to prepare their books of accounts. So, which means they're not complying at all with the standards. So for organizations like that, they definitely wouldn't submit, because they already know from the start they haven't gotten it right. Because the first point that businesses have to get right in financial reporting is to use the right people, who are the certified public accountants. So I think that's the biggest issue, really, because it's not a money issue, because it's free, really, it's free submission. Yeah. So the first and most important thing is for them to use the right people, who are the CPAs. Yeah, and I think that's the biggest challenge for them.
Now let's also look at the benefits. How does the CPA benefit from these awards, and how do the participants benefit as well?
Okay, for us as organizations, our benefit is to see the right things being done in the country, because we are a regulator and our mandate is to ensure that standards are complied with. So the biggest benefit that we get is when there is a high level of compliance, because as an institute we also report to the global body for professional accountants, which is the International Federation of Accountants, and in complying with the regulations, we also have to submit a return and say that in our country as Uganda, this is the level of compliance with the standards. So for us as an institute, it's the level of compliance. That's a benefit that we get, to see that the right things are being done in terms of financial reporting. And then for the participants, number one, good financial reporting is provides an avenue for raising capital. Many businesses struggle with raising capital, and there are many ways to raise capital. One of them is through the financial institutions in form of loans. The other is through the capital markets, by trading publicly. So, but before you go to the bank to ask for a loan as a business, they will ask you to show them your financials. And if they're not prepared in line with the standards, chances are high that your loan request will be rejected. Same with the capital markets. If you want to raise funds publicly, you need to present financial statements, and those statements, your annual report must be prepared in line with the standards. So those organizations that comply with the standards in terms of financial reporting stand a higher chance of having their applications, let's say for credit, approved. Also, investors will be keen to see how you report on governance, issues of sustainability, and of course how you comply with the standards. So the first benefit is raising funds. But the other thing is stakeholder confidence. Let's say, for instance, for public entities. So the government relies heavily on taxes to perform its duties, and that money that they collect in form of taxes needs to be accounted for. They need to show the public that this is the amount of money that we've raised this year, and this is what it has been used for, and therefore the annual reports help them to provide that information in the right way, and so that raises confidence in the public and in other stakeholders. The third, like we discussed, is the recognition, the publicity, the reputation of the company, because if the public knows that Company A is an exceller in financial reporting, they want to be associated with that organization. And then finally also is the internal stakeholders, the employees. So the process of financial reporting is a team effort. It's not just the mandate of the accountant, because in that annual report, and we've moved away from calling it a financial report to an annual report because it contains non-financial information as well. It tells us about how the organization is being governed, it tells us about how the organization is handling environmental matters, handling employee issues, and all of that. So there are various departments that participate, and so that builds teamwork. But also, if the organization is recognized for excelling in financial reporting, that helps, it builds confidence in staff members, and they get motivated as well.
All right, we return after the break to discuss more about the financial reporting awards and then others matters to do with financial reporting. Stick around. You can as well engage into our social media. Twitter is Smart24TV on the same matter of financial reporting. I'll be right back at the top of the hour.